Hello and welcome to this edition of WeTalk, where we end the invasion. American physician and diplomat Deborah Leah Birx, who served as the White House coronavirus response coordinator under former President Donald Trump from 2020 to 2021, released a new book, Silent Invasion, the untold story of the Trump administration, COVID-19, and preventing the next pandemic before it's too late.
Wow, untold story. This is quite interesting, what's been told.
In the book, Dr. Birx described her first brief conversation with then-President Trump in her new role as response coordinator for the White House coronavirus task force in March 2020. Trump said, well, the people I'm talking to say that this isn't going to be any worse than the flu. And Birx replied, Mr. President, I don't know who you're speaking with, but I have the evidence to fully support the conclusion that this outbreak is not going to be like the seasonal flu or even a pandemic flu. This virus is very deadly.
So for weeks, she'd been raising the alarm behind the scenes about what she saw happening in public.
Exactly. From the apparent lack of urgency at the White House to the routine downplaying of the risks to Americans.
At the initial phase of the pandemic, I did remember the former administration likened the pandemic to the seasonal flu.
But that's a little bit like the flu. It's a little like the regular flu.
At that time, the Trump administration did not take it seriously and failed to take decisive measures in a timely manner.
That's exactly what happened. Birx wrote in the early crucial weeks of the crisis that some roaming the halls of the West Wing believed that the less we did, the less we would be held accountable for whatever was about to happen.
The less they did, the more people died.
The book also revealed how difficult for health experts like Birx to earn Trump's support for data-based science.
Well, it just reminded me that Trump advocated consuming disinfectants to kill the virus in a live televised briefing.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning?
Yeah, I remember Birx sat beside Trump and looked really embarrassed. She, of course, lamented her most public lapse in the book. She just quietly uttered, not as a treatment. In the U.S. fight against epidemics, such anti-science incidents often happened, and medical professionals were muted. Right. The Trump administration has not promptly urged mass testing, mask wearing, and social distancing as recommended by medical experts. And after Birx warned the public that the virus is, quote, extraordinarily widespread, Trump caught her and accused her of spreading, quote, fake news, and repeated the lie he wanted her to abide by. The virus was under control. It seems the American politicians care more about their ballots rather than people's lives. During the pandemic, American society is deeply divided, and what's more, imbalance and inequality creep along as society cracks. Right. At the end of the day, it's the American people who suffered the most. The death toll in the U.S. has exceeded 1 million, and more than 200,000 children have become pandemic orphans.
I just think people did not want to believe that there was something like this that could happen.
And I think we weren't very prepared for something. The warning signs have been there for a considerable amount of time beforehand, and people weren't paying attention. It's heartbreaking because it is going to be a generation of children who are having to find their way. The supports clearly aren't in place.
It is more of a man-made tragedy than a natural calamity.
In our country, that is really, truly unfortunate and something that we would have hoped would have been avoided.
If American leaders took early warnings seriously from the international community and public health experts and put science over politics rather than the other way around, this might have been prevented. And that's all for this edition of WeTalk.
Thank you for being with us. We'll see you next time.